And we're back with Congressman Mullin. One other thing, and then I'll quit. I'll get away from this. You mentioned how quickly the news spread on that.
Right.
And I can verify that because about an hour after you said it, I saw it on MSNBC, and I think you just told me during the break that Al Sharpton gave you a civics lesson every night for a week.
Sam, for nonstop, I was on the TV. I was on TV on it. And, you know, at that time, looking back, mind you, I'd only been in politics at that point 8 months. And looking back on it, I should have came out and clarified it right away. But people were saying, no, it'll go away, it'll go away. People will get to understand what you said. And it was horrible. It was.
Well, let's clear up something else while we're sitting here having this discussion. Initially, you put a time limit out in front of you as to how long you were going to serve, and that went away. I'm assuming, and this is a big assumption, if you want to straighten me out, just don't give me one of those black eyes.
My son's not here. You're good.
All right. I'm assuming that what you discovered is the same thing that holds true with a lot of folk who end up in Congress. There was so much to do and so little time to do it in. Am I close?
Well, yeah, but to us it was a little bit different. We went up there specifically on things we wanted to get accomplished. I mean, we put a 6-year time frame, first of all, because you hear about these horrible stories. People go to Congress and they lose their businesses, they lose their, well, if any of them were in business, but they lose their families. And what's the point of going and doing something like this if you lose your family? I mean, it's for them, it's about them. And so my wife and I were both very scared about what we're getting ourselves into. We'd never been in politics before. We didn't know what the world was going to be like. And so we went up there with one, family being most important. Our way of life is not politics, it's our companies. And two, with ideas of what we want to get accomplished. At the end of 6 years, our businesses were doing great. I've got great managers. My leadership team has been put in place for, on average, of 17 years. That's how long they've been working for me. My family was 100% supportive of it. Like I said, if they weren't involved, if they wasn't supportive, we wouldn't be there. And three, we hadn't got accomplished what we wanted to. We spent the first 4 years in office fighting Obama every step of the way. Mm-hmm. And sometimes I felt like I was just literally just holding the door closed, not getting anything accomplished, just trying to keep the federal government from running over us, because they were just choking the entrepreneurs and our economy to death with the heavy hand of the federal government. When Trump got in office, to us, it was an opportunity for us to finally get the stuff done, because I had a business guy in office that understood what regulations was like, understood what limited government is all about and not a large government. And so we were able to get more stuff accomplished.
Well,
and so at this point, we're able to do it.
For just a minute.
Yeah.
The current president initially he was criticized by the Democrats. Now he's getting criticism from Democrats and Republicans. You think it's justified?
Well, Sam, let me first throw this out to you, and I'm going to put you on the spot here.
Sure.
So, how many Republicans can you name that's been putting the president on the spot?
Well, I can see the faces of about 3, 2 from the House, 1 from the Senate.
Right.
I know that some local Republican, by that I mean
Right.
Folks from New York, have been critical.
Sure.
Beyond that?
So my point on all that, because I get this question all the time, and I had the same response, regardless if I'm sitting as a captive audience on a plane or someone decides to come up and bother me at a restaurant, which I don't mind, but they'll come up and say, I'm sorry to bother you, but, and they have this question, and that's always my canned response. How many can you name? Because we get this perception that all the Republican Party is anti-Trump, but really what you're seeing is the same few. You see one guy that's retired named Charlie Dent, and he claimed to be a Republican. But you can look at his voting record, and he voted more with Nancy Pelosi than he ever did, the Republican Party. And you got a guy named Peter King, who is a great guy. He's still a member of Congress. But you know, Peter's got a constituent base that is not supportive of the president, therefore he's not going to be supportive of the president. But privately, he talks good about the president, but he does have some disagreements with him. And then on the Senate side, almost every senator that criticizes him, either one, ran against him in the primary, or two, 30 days before the election, disendorsed him because of his comment that he said about that gross remark on the bus one time. My point is most of the people that are against him have always been against him.
Okay, let me play devil's advocate on this for just a minute. It seems that I'm hearing from all quarters that this president has a problem with the truth. Your response?
I say the same thing all the time. Give me an example.
Okay. No, I did not approve the payment to that woman.
There hasn't been any proof that he did. I don't know if he did or not.
He later said he did give the go-ahead to his attorney.
I don't know that for a fact. I haven't seen those papers to say that he did. I do know that statement, though, that he said or he didn't say. His attorney has went all over the place if he said it or he didn't. First of all, his attorney said he didn't. Then his attorney, when he got charged, came back and said that he did. So I don't know what the truth is on that one. But you also got President Obama that said if you like your insurance, you can keep it. Knowing darn good and well that wasn't the truth, because now we can go back and look at it, and he was actually told, no, this is going to change the market.
New York Times, Washington Post, CNN, outlets all over the country are keeping what they call a tally of what they claim are lies on the part of this president. Have you monitored some of those?
Everyone that I see, I use the same thing. Give me an example, because what they do is they make assumptions because he says it's going to be huge or it's going to be great or that it's the best economy ever. Well, you can argue all those things. When you say the best economy ever, okay, we have 7.3 million job openings today. Well, our economy turned around faster than what anybody expected it could even do.
But did he start that?
Without question.
All right, then let's jump to another thing here. Back when he talked about the size of the crowd being larger than Obama's crowd at the inauguration, photos clearly show the discrepancy.
According to what we've got from the reports from the White House, he was using the information that his team gave him. So if he's using the information that was given him, not based off pictures, but off of what was given him, then what is he supposed to quote? That's what he quoted. He had huge crowds all over the place. Everywhere he goes, he has sold-out crowds. So if he's reporting the numbers that were given to him, does that make it a lie? It doesn't. That isn't that he's making something up. That was given to him.
What about the fence, the wall, whatever we choose to call it? He says it's going to stop drug dealers, people in bondage, human trafficking, and other folks are saying, wait a second, that the drugs are coming in through the main gates and by way of the sea. And his people are saying that. His organizations in Congress are saying, wait a second, we're finding most of the drugs come in by 18-wheelers or mules that we can't always catch. They're not crossing the border in great numbers.
If you go back and you look at his numbers, first of all, let's talk about the wall. In San Diego and El Paso, since they put the wall in, illegal crossing has dropped over 90%. In fact, an average of 92% since they put the wall in. Now, so walls work about illegal activity. When you go back and you start looking at the border security.
Well, I heard the mayor of that town, though, say it was already down. They're claiming it was down before the wall went in.
The wall was put in the 90s. So we had the real statistics of what the crossing was then and what it is now. So I don't know what the mayor of El Paso or San Antonio is talking about, or San Diego. But if you go back and you look at it, you'll see that the crossing, the illegal crossing, is drastically down, building number to number. Now, if you go back and you talk about border security, the president's $5.7 billion wasn't just for wall. It was border security too, and it was technology. We have captured 1.7 million pounds of narcotics crossing our legal port of entries. Last year alone, only inspecting 20% of the vehicles. $800 million, $805 million of the president's proposal was going to go to inspecting 100% of the vehicles with technology that we already apply in other countries. And the technology is already out there, where every container that comes off of a ship, every vehicle that comes across the country or comes across our border as it's moving, so it doesn't have to stop and get x-rayed, as it's moving will be x-rayed. Right now we only do 20% and we go to 100%. What do you think about the activity that's going to happen? If we caught 1.7 million pounds of narcotics with 20%, think of the math that we're going to catch when we start inspecting 100% of the vehicles.
I got 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Do you agree with this president that when he signed the executive order, do you suspect that he did the right thing?
Absolutely.
Are you in total agreement on that?
Absolutely. It's a national security crisis that's going on right now. We have a drug epidemic taking place. We have more people dying today from accidental overdoses than we do in car accidents. There isn't one of us that's in this studio or probably listened to this program that doesn't know someone that's been affected by abusing drugs.
And some of them prescription.
And some of them prescription, but 3 out of 4 opioid abusers move to heroin. 3 out of 4. So at the end of the day, it's
Mark,
a national security crisis.
We're out of time. Go put a beef steak on that
Sam.
eye.
I will. Appreciate you.
Thank you
so
for
much.
joining us. We're all out of time, and we'll see you next time. Hey,